Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight there is lots to negotiate about. So let's delve straight into the topic. So I am going to be talking with you a bit about Liverpool. Haven't spoken with you about Liverpool for a while. Well, actually no, I mentioned Liverpool yesterday, didn't I? I'll give you an update on some of their transfer news and that. But this is more positive news from a Liverpool perspective. So regardless, whether the season is to resume or if the season, doesn't resume, Liverpool will be announced as Premier League champions. Now, I think UEFA have confirmed this. Because it does remain unknown, whether the season is going to resume or not, because don't forget it did get suspended indefinitely. Now, of course, the Premier League will resume when it is basically safe to do so. Now, obviously, don't forget the Premier League had a meeting last Friday to establish plans for the remainder of the season. And obviously, there was no talks of, the Premier League finishing on the 30th of June. There was no debates on the issues of the pay cuts. There was no mention of the transfer windows, etc., etc. Because before that meeting last Friday, obviously, the Premier League were planning, to try and start the season on the 6th of June. And, they wanted it to come to a conclusion by the 30th of June. But, none of this was mentioned. So that would mean you'd have to play like maybe 2-3 games a week. And then obviously, recently it said that the Premier League were planning to start the season on the 8th of June. And then, try and complete it within a 5-week period. And also too, like I updated you yesterday, or was it the day before, it says the Premier League have got a back plan to finish the season by July the 31st. So the Champions League and the Europa League games can be played in August. And I think it did say the Premier League have confirmed this with the UEFA president, Alexander Sheffrin, and that. But yeah, definitely if the season does resume, it will be played behind closed doors. Like I said, Liverpool are also changing their sponsor from New Balance, is it to Nike, also to Newcastle and Watford. I think, they're also changing their sponsors. I think some players' wages have been cut by around 30%. Don't forget, Ozil recently, refused to have his wages cut. There was rumours emerging out quite a while back saying that, if the season wasn't to resume, there could be 22 teams in the Premier League next season and up to around 4 or 5 teams relegated, and this is what it had mentioned. And there was also rumours emerging out saying that if the season wasn't to resume, the teams in the relegation zone would not get relegated. And obviously, earlier on in the season, there was talks that Liverpool would get denied the Premier League title. This is what it basically said. But yeah, anyway, Liverpool will be very, very delighted. UEFA have confirmed they will be crowned Premier League champions whether the season resumes or doesn't resume. So even if the season doesn't finish, Liverpool will be crowned Premier League champions. Of course, Liverpool only need 2 wins anyway to clinch their first ever Premier League title. They only need 2 wins to Liverpool. And like I said, when they do win the Premier League title, it'll be their first ever Premier League title, but they're 19th overall because Liverpool have won 18 all first divisions at the moment. But, it will end at their 30-year drought. And Liverpool are sitting 25 points clear of Manchester City. So Liverpool, will be very, very delighted with that. Like I said, Liverpool did go on a 44-match unbeaten run throughout the course of this season. But their 44-match unbeaten run came to an end because Watford beat them 3-0 earlier on in the season. But that's, the only game Liverpool have lost in the league this season. But, they can't deny Liverpool the title, because that's definitely, not right. Let's be honest, it isn't right. But, football has been suspended since, the 9th of March. It has been suspended now for over a month. It has been suspended, and it's not only football. A lot of sporting events across the globe have been cancelled due to this coronavirus pandemic. Obviously, if they do resume the season, then obviously they're going to have to reschedule all the fixtures that they have currently postponed. This is what they are going to have to do. Don't forget, UEFA are planning to play the Champions League final on August the 29th. So yeah, so Liverpool are still to be crowned Premier League champions even if the season doesn't resume. And that I'm a Manchester United fan and I hate Liverpool a lot, but they have deserved to win it, of how they've played this season and that. But I did say, didn't I? It was going to be interesting to see or it will be interesting to see how it will implicate the leagues if the season isn't to resume. Because, like I said, top flight clubs are set to lose over billions in revenues. It did say, the Premier League could face a financial penalty of £762 million with TV contract rebates and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen now. And I think, if the season is to end by the 31st of July and the Champions League and the Europa League games are to be in August, then I think, Premier League games will be free on TV. They'll be aired free on television. So that's obviously, very, very good news. But yeah, so that's the latest news on that. I just wanted to give you some latest news on that. Yeah, so let's delve now into a bit of Liverpool's transfer news. So, of course, Liverpool do want to make more signings when the transfer market does reopen. Of course, because they do want to continue this dominance up because, like I said, they've been absolutely tremendous throughout the course of this season. Obviously, one player that's been on Liverpool's agenda, and that is Timo Werner. Now, Liverpool have been relentlessly linked with Timo Werner. I think Liverpool will only get Timo Werner on the board if they can get rid of Salah, Firmino, or Mane. Liverpool have to get rid of one of their attacking trio. So in that aspect, Timo Werner, can get game time week in, week out with them. And I think, if Liverpool were to sell Salah, if the transfer market reopens, they'd definitely get over 100 million for him. And I think Liverpool only paid just over £30 million in from Roma. If they were to sell Mane, they'd get more than the 30-odd million pounds that they paid for him. And if they were to sell Firmino, they'd get more than the £10 million that they paid for him. If they were to sell the trio, Liverpool would generate a lot of money. They'd get around £300 million for them. But the news is on Timo Werner, and this was stemming out from the media yesterday. I also read it in Sky Sports, and he actually said Timo Werner has made an admission, and he said, he does want to make a move to Liverpool. Because don't forget, back in February, this was stemming from Sky in Germany, Timo Werner was, talking a lot about Liverpool. He also put Jurgen Klopp into the equation, and he said, Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers in the world. So, that had fueled a lot of speculation up, when he was talking a lot about Liverpool in February. But reportedly, the RP Leipzig sporting director, he's come out and give his verdict on it. And he says, there's been no approach from any clubs for Timo Werner. And he actually, said that there's been no contact. Timo Werner's made no contact with him. So, Timo Werner said he wants to move to Liverpool. But I don't think Liverpool have got any intentions of putting a bid in for the player. Now, Timo Werner will cost around, £52 million? Because that's his actual release clause in his contract with RP Leipzig. That's his actual contract. In his contract, £52 million. So he's a cheap solution. He has got a contract with RP Leipzig until 2023 as Timo Werner. But Liverpool have been long admirers of the player. And another good thing about Timo Werner is that he's young. He's 23, 24. Still got a lot of years ahead of him. He also can play more than one position as well. So he's versatile. But I do really, really like him a lot. And he's done very, very well at RP Leipzig. I think this is now his 4th season with RP Leipzig. And I think he's got like 72 goals in the Bundesliga in 118 Bundesliga appearances. This season he's got 27 goals in 36 games for RP Leipzig. RP Leipzig did pay around €10 million for him from Stuttgart because he began his senior career with Stuttgart. Don't forget he became the youngest player to ever represent them, and then later became their youngest ever goal scorer. And I think Timo Werner's got domestic records of, becoming the youngest player to reach 50, 100, 150 and 200 appearances in the Bundesliga. But yeah, so Liverpool may, reject the chance, to sign Timo Werner from RP Leipzig. But he's not the only player that's been on their agenda. Don't forget they've been in for Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen. He's been another player on their agenda. Kai Havertz is going to cost Liverpool at least £100 million because Leverkusen have said they want at least £100 million. So Timo Werner would be a much cheaper solution for Liverpool than Kai Havertz. It also confirmed from the media yesterday, it was stemming from the Sports Witness, and he actually, said that Liverpool have expressed an interest in Willian from Chelsea. Liverpool, I think, are set to get him on a free transfer because don't forget Willian's contract does expire on the 30th of June, so Chelsea are at risk of losing Willian on a free transfer. Willian's been a long-serving player at Chelsea. He's now into his 7th season with Chelsea. I think Chelsea paid around £30 million for him back in 2013. I think they got him from Anze Kakala, however you pronounce the name, but that's where Willian came from, and I think Willian is a 30 or 31 years of age. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder, but he can also play as a winger, can the player. But Liverpool have been in negotiations with Chelsea over this. So yeah, he's another player now on Liverpool's agenda. Because basically, Chelsea, want Coutinho to actually, replace Willian, like I updated you yesterday. So yeah, Liverpool, I think, have also inquired about, the availability of Mbappe, but, they won't be able to afford Mbappe outright because Mbappe is going to cost at least around £200 million, and Liverpool would have to offload quite a few of their imperative players to, get Kylian Mbappe on the board. But, Liverpool did make a signing in January. Of course, they got Takumi Minamino from Red Bull Salzburg for just over £7 million. They paid around 7.25 million for him. And Takumi Minamino, I do believe he'll get more opportunities going on into next season, will the player. But he has played a couple of times throughout the course of this season for Liverpool. But he was the only signing they made, I think, in the January transfer window. Also, Liverpool do expect to see outgoings when the transfer market reopens. I think Liverpool are probably going to get rid of around 4 or 5 players. I think, they're going to definitely get rid of Nathaniel Klein because Nathaniel Klein is very, very injury prone and he doesn't even get in Liverpool's team. Does Nathaniel Klein? Very injury prone. He's a backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold, basically. Also, too, I think, they're going to get rid of Dejan Lovren because, Dejan Lovren is one of their backup centre-halves. So I think, they will get rid of him. He's obviously, had a few injuries this season, just like Nathaniel Klein, injury prone. I think they're definitely going to get rid of Adam Lallana. I think he's expected to leave Liverpool on a free transfer, is Adam Lallana. Apparently because his current contract does expire in the summer. Also, too, I think they'll probably get rid of Shaqiri. He's not a 90-minute player, Shaqiri. He tends to make an impact from the sub. And I think, they could consider getting rid of Dickov Origi, could Liverpool. So, yeah, they're going to get rid of around, 4 or 5 players when the transfer market reopens. I think maybe next year Liverpool will get rid of more players as well. I think maybe next year they could maybe consider getting rid of Keita. Keita's done well for them, but he isn't one of their first choice midfielders. He's Naby Keita, predominantly plays as a number 8. I think maybe Joe Matip, he could be moved on in the future, but I don't think he'll, go in the summer. But I think, there's a lot of players in Liverpool's team that, do have a foreseeable future with them. Salah probably won't be sold in the summer, but he could be gone next year or maybe in the next couple of years' time. Maybe the same thing with Mane. I do not know. But of course, Liverpool do want to continue this dominance up, so they do want to make more signings, definitely in that. And like I said, Liverpool have won 3 major honours this season. Obviously, they won the FIFA Club World Cup earlier on in the season. They won the Super Cup. And they also won the Champions League at the end of last season. Don't forget, Liverpool are the most successful team in Champions League history out of the English clubs because, Liverpool have won 6 Champions Leagues. Don't forget. So, Liverpool winning the Premier League, it will be Jurgen Klopp's 4th major honour as Liverpool manager because so far he has won 3 major honours. He also won a couple of titles when he was at Borussia Dortmund. Let's put that into the equation. I think he won around 2 titles at Dortmund. So let's just put that into the equation as well. So he's won quite a few trophies as a manager as Jurgen Klopp. He has got a contract with Liverpool until 2024. Don't forget, earlier on in the season, he had got his contract extended. I don't know whether he'll see out his contract, Jurgen Klopp. He could see out his contract, but when he does eventually decide to leave Liverpool, I think he will make a return back to Germany, will Jurgen Klopp, if I am going to be quite honest with you. That's what I think, is going to happen. Jurgen Klopp is now into his fifth season with Liverpool, and obviously, Liverpool have recruited some very, very good players in recent years, and I think, Liverpool have spent around, is it 460 million in total since Jurgen Klopp got recommended in. Yeah, around 468 million pounds and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, they have recruited some very, very good players in. But Liverpool have been very, very sensible with their recruitment. They haven't overpaid for players. Liverpool's most expensive signing is Virgil van Dijk, who they paid £75 million for. Virgil van Dijk is the second most expensive centre half in the world, but the best centre half in the world. Virgil van Dijk, has he got a contract with Liverpool until, is it 2022 or 2023, if I'm right? Of course, don't forget, I think this was in his first season. He won Premier League Player of the Season. I think he won PFA Player of the Year. I think there was also a period where no player managed to dribble past him. So that just indicates how good Virgil van Dijk is. But, Van Dijk, was also good during his days at Southampton. He was also very, very good at Celtic. But Liverpool paid £75 million for him. I think he's also one of Liverpool's highest paid players is Virgil van Dijk. But yeah, very, very good centre-half indeed. Like I said, they only paid was it £3 million for Andrew Robertson. And he's also, done very, very well for them. Is a left-back, is Andrew Robertson. I think Liverpool did get him from Hull. Also, too, they got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, they didn't pay anything for him because up until this point, Trent Alexander-Arnold has spent the entirety of his career with Liverpool. Obviously, he's from Liverpool. I think he's one of the players that could actually, spend the entirety of his career from now on with Liverpool. Just see what happens. One of the best right backs in the world is Trent Alexander-Arnold, without a shadow of a doubt. Of course, they paid, was it 67 million for Allinson. Very, very good goalkeeper, £67 million. Not the best overall in the world, but I think at this present time, he is one of the best, is Allinson. Of course, Liverpool did get him from Roma for £67 million. I think he's Liverpool's second most expensive signing, is Allinson. But, obviously, what they sold Coutinho, didn't they, Liverpool, for 142 million. So the 142 million they generated from his departure, obviously, they paid 75 for Van Dijk and they paid £67 million for Allinson. I've also got to say as well, Henderson's, he's enjoyed a very, very good season for Liverpool. I think he's underrated, is Henderson, to be quite honest with you. He doesn't get enough credit. I think Liverpool, did pay around £20 million for him from Sunderland. But yeah, Henderson, he's done very, very well. I think Fabinho, I've been very, very impressed with him. Of course, Liverpool did get Fabinho from Monaco. So, I've got to give him a hell of a lot of credit as well. Liverpool, to be fair, I've actually got quite a lot of midfielders in their team. They have got a lot of midfielders in their team of Liverpool, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, they've got James Milner as well. He's still going very, very strong for Liverpool. James Milner, of course, don't forget, is a former Manchester City and Aston Villa player. But but Liverpool, like I mentioned, have been very, very sensible with their recruitment. But I've got to make an admission, Jurgen Klopp is the best manager that Liverpool have had in this generation, without a shadow of a doubt. They've had a lot of good managers, up and down the generations. Same sort of thing with players, they've had a lot of good players up and down the generations and stuff. But Jurgen Klopp is, the best manager at the moment. Obviously, their previous manager before Jurgen Klopp was Brendan Rodgers. Of course, obviously, Brendan Rodgers enjoyed one good season with Liverpool. This was back in the 2013-14 season, if I'm right. That season, again, Liverpool should have won the league. But, Liverpool have come very, very close on quite a few occasions. I think before Rodgers, didn't have Kenny Dalglish, if I'm right? Or it might have been Roy Hodgson, but it was one of them. Kenny Dalglish was a good player, but I don't think he was ever a good manager for them. Of course, they had Roy Hodgson, who was very, very poor. They had Rafa Benitez, who of course won the Champions League with Liverpool. They also had Gerard Houllier at one point. So they've had some good managers up and down the generations, without a shadow of a doubt in that. And I've got to say, this is the best Liverpool team I've seen. since, they had the likes of Suarez, Sturridge and Coutinho, when they did have, Brendan Rodgers. So let's just put that into the equation. But I do expect, Liverpool to make signings when the transfer market does reopen. But I also expect Manchester City to make some signings. I expect my club Man United to make signings. Probably expect Chelsea to make some signings in that. But, we shall see what happens. But, Liverpool came very, very close to winning the title last season. They finished on 97 points last season. They did only finish 1 point behind Manchester City. They only finished like 1 point behind Manchester City. But I think in all competitions this season, Liverpool have lost like 6 or 7. Only lost 1 in the league. They lost to Villa in the Carabao Cup. They lost to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. So Liverpool are no longer now the Champions League holders because they're no longer in it. They lost to, I think, Napoli, was it, in the group stage. They lost to Chelsea in the FA Cup. So they have lost quite a few matches, and probably a few other matches, that they've lost that I haven't currently mentioned in that. But, Liverpool are a very, very good side, but, I do hate to say that, obviously, because that I am a Manchester United fan. So, Liverpool could possibly get term over and revert back to what I said, but, we shall, see what happens on that. So, that's the latest news. Liverpool are set to be crowned Premier League champions, even if the season doesn't resume. UEFA have confirmed. It's probably UEFA believe it's unfair on them if they were to be denied the title and that. Don't forget UEFA, they also confirmed recently that I think they said at the first that Man United and Arsenal would get qualification for the Champions League for next season if the season wasn't to resume. But I think there's been a change now saying that Man United and Chelsea will get qualification for the Champions League, if the season isn't to resume and that. So obviously, UEFA have got to make this decision. Of course, UEFA have been in negotiations with around 55 national associations over resuming the season and all of that. There you go. But yeah, so that's your latest, on the Liverpool news. So let's now delve into my club, Manchester United. So I just want to give you now some news on Kieran McKenna. Kieran McKenna has come out today, I think it is, and he has confirmed that our squad are planning to return to first team training in May, providing that the government restrictions are eased. Our squad want to get back to training next month. And, Kieran McKenna has, basically, confirmed this, because we haven't played since early March. Now, also too, Kieran McKenna has come out and said that it is a priority that we do finish the season, of course. And he says if we are to be pushed back again, if the lockdown is to be extended, then, he says he's got a plan B and he has got a plan C. Also, Kieran McKenna, he's also come out and, said that, Rashford and Paul Pogba will make an impact, because there's been a lot of positivity coming out regarding Rashford and Paul Pogba. And the positive news is that Rashford is set to be fully fit when, the football season does eventually resume. Because, don't forget Marcus Rashford has been out with a back injury since, the 16th, or is it the 17th of January? Or it might have been a bit earlier than that. But the last game he played for Manchester United was against Wolves in the FA Cup. And Solskjaer made the wrong decision by playing Rashford in that game against Wolves, but he did play him in that game against Wolves. But, he has been out of injury for quite some time. And obviously, he's been training at home whilst on coronavirus lockdown. And Rashford said, he doesn't like it. It's hard for him to train at home because his preference would be to train at the training ground. But, Rashford's been a big miss for us this season. Rashford's been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in our senior squad since 2016. And I've got to say, since then, he has become an integral part of our team. Rashford scored in his debut against, Midtjylland, twice on his Europa League debut against Midtjylland. He also scored on his Premier League debut twice against Arsenal, scored in his first Manchester derby and that, scored on his international debut. And don't get me wrong, Rashford's endured some difficult spells as a Man United player, but I've got to say he was one of our best players earlier on in the season. I think probably Rashford's going to play out wide when he comes back, because he's supposed to be more effective from that wide position. But Rashford can also play as a number 9. We'll probably keep Anthony Martial in the number 9, even though Martial predominantly plays out wide on the left. To be quite honest with you. Obviously, Pogba. I give you the news about Pogba anyway, didn't I, on my recent video? On my recent video, I give you the news, didn't I, regarding Paul Pogba, and it said that he should be back when the football season does eventually resume. Of course, Paul Pogba's only played 8 times this season for Manchester United. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries, have Paul Pogba's. Now, of course, don't forget Paul Pogba did give an interview to the United podcast recently, and he come out with a few interesting stuff. He was talking about his issues that he's had with injuries this season, how it's really, really infuriated him. Don't forget he also responded to the criticism that he's received from Graham Souness, because Graham Souness has been criticising him persistently. Also, too, I think, Pogba still wants to leave Manchester United, like he updated you earlier on today. So he's got the same perception than what he had last summer. I don't know if Paul Pogba's going to be staying, or I don't know if he's going to be going, I don't know. But he did reveal that his mother and his brother did convince him to leave Manchester United back in 2012, because don't forget, we had Pogba under the Alex Ferguson era, but we let him go on a free transfer, because his appearances were limited under the Alex Ferguson era where Paul Pogba's, but we did let him go on a free transfer to Juventus. Of course, Alan Shearer's come out and give his verdict on it recently, and he believes that we have made a decision on Paul Pogba's future, and he believes Paul Pogba will leave Manchester United when the transfer market does reopen. Don't forget, in recent weeks as well, swap deals have been on the agenda. Don't forget there was talks of, Ramsey coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Juventus. Talks of De Ligt coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Juventus. But he has been subjected to so much transfer speculation. Now, on my previous video, like I mentioned, and this was stemming from reports in France, and they said now that Zinedine Zidane wants Paul Pogba. Also, too, Real Madrid have got other midfielders on their agenda, but Paul Pogba is their number 1 priority target. Now, it did say, we are determined to sell Paul Pogba, and we could just get £72 million for him for when the transfer market does reopen. So that's like 17 or 18 million pound less, is it? Or 16 million, if I can remember. I think it's about 17 million less, than what we paid for him. Because don't forget, we paid £89 million for the player. And I can see him possibly going to Real Madrid. If he doesn't go to Real Madrid, I think he'll possibly make a return back to Turin, because he did enjoy 4 good years in Turin with Juventus. But since he rejoined us, the vast majority of his performances have been totally comparison and all of that. And Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid last year. Don't forget, Tutor Sport, which is an Italian source, they recently said that Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Paul Pogba. So there's a number of clubs that are in for him, but I think he'll definitely play again for Manchester United. We know Pogba isn't going to be he's that 1 year extension on his contract isn't going to be triggered. We know that now, because that's been confirmed. But the Spanish expert, he came out earlier on this week, and he believes that Paul Pogba will sign a new long-term contract at Manchester United and that. But revert back to what I said earlier on the video, Pogba and Rashford have been a big miss for us throughout the course of this season, definitely in that. Obviously, I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho today. Obviously, there's been reports saying that, Borussia Dortmund believe they can convince him to stay by, giving him a new 1 year contract worth around £9 million. I've obviously kept you up to date of what's been going on with Thomas Partey, because don't forget his agent denied talks with Arsenal. So yeah, keep up to date as much as I can on this channel, don't forget. There will be more videos coming up, definitely. There will be more, videos coming up. So yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.